Good morning, students. Today the topic is lung volumes and capacities. So this topic is very important for both theory and practicals. So in this the learning objectives are the student should know the definition and values of the various lung volumes and capacities, and the clinical significance of the functional residual capacity and various factors affecting the vital capacity, and the importance or significance of the forced vital capacity. So these lung volumes and capacities are of two types, static and dynamic. The static volumes and capacities are in them the time factor is not involved and they are measured in ml or liters. They are tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, residual volume, inspiratory capacity, functional residual capacity, vital capacity and total lung capacity. And the dynamic lung volumes and capacities are time dependent. They are measured in ml per minute or liter per minute. So they are timed vital capacity or forced vital capacity and forced expiratory flow at the, 25 to 75% and minute ventilation and peak expiratory flow rate and minute volume ventilation. So most of these can be measured by spirometry except for the residual volume and functional residual volume and total lung capacity. So FRC can be estimated using nitrogen washout technique and helium dilution method, through which we can calculate the residual volume and total lung capacity. So from this picture we can see the various volumes and capacities. In static lung volumes and capacities there are 4 volumes and 5 capacities. So we will see one by one. So the first one is tidal volume. If you can see here, it is defined as the volume of air inspired or expired with each breath during the normal quiet breathing. So it is approximately 500 ml in normal adult male. And next volume is inspiratory reserve volume. So it is defined as the extra volume of air that can be inhaled by maximum inspiratory effort over and beyond the normal tidal volume. It is about 3000 ml in normal adult male. And the next volume is expiratory reserve volume, and it is defined as the extra volume of air that can be exhaled by maximum forceful expiration over and beyond the normal tidal volume. So the central one is the tidal volume. This is normal inspiration and expiration during quiet breathing, and the inspiratory reserve volume is the extra amount of air which is inspired beyond the normal inspiration, that is beyond the tidal volume. And the expiratory reserve volume is which the amount of air which can be expired beyond the normal expiration from here to here. So the inspiratory reserve, tidal volume is 500 ml, inspiratory reserve volume is normally 3000 ml in adult male, and expiratory reserve volume is it is 1100 ml in the normal adult male. And the next volume is residual volume. It is defined as the volume of air that is remaining in the lungs after most forceful expiration, that is after expiratory reserve volume. This is above the normal expiration, right? So the residual volume is still the remaining volume which is remaining beyond the expiratory reserve volume. So that is residual volume. It is normally 1200 ml in the adult male. So next we'll see the capacities. So these lung capacities are combination of one or more pulmonary volumes. And the first one is inspiratory capacity. So this is the maximum volume of air that can be inspired after normal tidal expiration. Okay. So after normal tidal expiration. So inspiratory capacity is tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume, which is approximately comes to 3000 plus 500, 3500 ml in normal adult male. And the expiratory capacity. Expiratory capacity is the maximum volume of air that can be expired that can be expired after normal tidal inspiration. So from here, after normal inspiration, from here tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume. So both will combinedly give expiratory capacity. So which is about 1100 plus 500, 1600 ml in normal adult male. And the next capacity is functional residual capacity. So it is the volume of air remaining in the lungs after normal tidal expiration. So after normal tidal expiration, whatever the amount of air remaining in the lungs, both these from here to here, it is called functional residual capacity. So it is a combination of expiratory reserve volume and residual volume. So which is amounting to 1100 plus 1200, 2300 ml in normal adult male. And the next capacity is vital capacity. So vital capacity, it is very important, its definition. So it is defined as the maximum amount of air a person can expel from the lungs after deepest possible inspiration. So therefore it equals inspiratory reserve volume, this inspiratory reserve volume, tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume, which amounts to 3000 plus 500 plus 1100, which is equal to 4600 ml in normal adult male. And lastly, total lung capacity, which is nothing but the combination or addition of all the volumes. That is, first it is defined as the volume of air present in the lungs after maximal inspiration. It equals to the vital capacity plus residual volume. Vital capacity plus residual volume gives the total lung capacity. Vital capacity is nothing but the amount of air remaining after maximal inspiration, and that plus residual volume gives the total lung capacity. Now we'll see the significance of functional residual capacity. So by FRC, continuous exchange of gases, that is concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide, is maintained in the lungs. So without FRC, PO2 would have been risen to 150 mmHg during inspiration and reduced nearly to zero during expiration, which is maintained at about 100 mm of Hg due to FRC. And breath holding is made possible because of FRC. And there is dilution of toxic inhaled gases occurs due to the reserve of 2300 ml of air in the lungs, which is FRC. And the load on the respiratory mechanism and the left ventricle is very much reduced because of FRC. Without FRC, lungs would have collapsed at the end of each expiration and re-expansion would have required tremendous breathing effort. And the collapsed lungs would have increased pulmonary vascular resistance and imposed a heavy load on the left ventricle. So the factors affecting functional residual capacity are old age. Old age increases FRC due to loss of elasticity of the lungs. And emphysema and bronchial asthma, there is hyperinflation of the lungs, which is associated again with increased FRC. And next we will see the significance of vital capacity. So estimation of vital capacity allows assessment of maximum inspiratory and expiratory efforts and thus gives useful information about strength of the respiratory muscles. The various factors affecting vital capacity are age. In old age, vital capacity is decreased due to decrease in the elasticity of the lungs. Sex, that is, it is more in males, 2.6 liter per meter square body surface area, because of large chest size and more muscle power than females. And the strength of respiratory muscles, in swimmers and divers, vital capacity is more because of increased strength of the respiratory muscles. And the gravity effects on vital capacity are, in standing position, VC is more than in sitting and lying position because of increased size of thoracic cavity in standing position and reduced pulmonary blood flow due to decreased venous return. And pregnancy, how it affects VC means, It is reduced due to pushing up of the diaphragm and reduced capacity of thoracic cavity in pregnancy. And in ascites, ascites means accumulation of fluid in the abdominal cavity. So VC is reduced due to same reason as in pregnancy, that is pushing up of diaphragm and reduced capacity of thoracic cavity. And various pulmonary diseases like fibrosis, emphysema, respiratory obstruction, edema, effusion are all associated with decreased vital capacity. And the next is timed vital capacity or forced vital capacity. It is the dynamic lung volume and capacity. So what it is the volume of air that can be expired rapidly with maximum force following maximum inspiration. And the volume of air expired can be timed by recording the vital capacity on a spirograph moving at known speed. So now we'll see the components of timed vital capacity. The first one is FEV1, that is forced expiratory volume in 1 second. So it represents the volume of air expired in the first second of FVC. So estimation of it measures the fraction of FVC, and its estimation is most commonly used screening test for airway diseases. That is, it helps to differentiate between obstructive and restrictive pattern of lung diseases. So it is actually a flow rate and its units are liters per second. So FEV1 percentage means it is the percentage of FVC expired in 1 second. So FEV1 percentage is equal to, how to calculate, FEV1 by FVC into 100. If we do that, we will get 80%. So normally it is 80%, and FEV2 represents the volume of air expired in the first 2 seconds of FVC. So it is about 90 to 93% of FVC. And FEV3 is, again, it represents the volume of air expired in the first 3 seconds. That is normally 98 to 100% of FVC. So these are various components of timed vital capacity or forced vital capacity: FEV1, FEV2 and FEV3. So now we will see the FEV1. It is, as I told you, it is used to differentiate the airway diseases, or it is used as a screening test for detecting airway diseases like obstructive and restrictive patterns. So in this diagram, if you can see, this one is the normal picture where vital capacity is 4.8 liters and FEV1 is 3.85, which amounts to 80% of VC. So in normal subject. And in B, it is, if you can see, it is restrictive lung disease. Here what is happening? There is high flow rate. In restrictive disease patients, there are high flow rates. So therefore, their FEV1 exceeds 80%. That is more than 83% of. So how you are getting? So FEV1 is equal to 2 liters and normal vital capacity is 2.4 liters. So if we do 2 by 2.4 into 100, it will be getting 83%. And in the third picture, you can see it is obstructive lung disease. So here these patients have low flow rates because of high airway resistance. So the vital capacity is 4.8 liters and the vital capacity, you can see, it is equal to normal subject, but the flow rate is very low. So the FEV1 is reduced, that is almost 1.3 liters. So which is only 25% of VC. So the obstructive lung disease patients have very abnormally low FEV1 by FVC ratio. So this is FEF 25 to 75%, that is forced expiratory flow during 25 to 75% of expiration. It is the mean expiratory flow rate during middle 50% of FVC. And the normal value is 300 liters per minute. It is also called maximum mid-expiratory flow rate, MMEFR, and it is a more sensitive index of airway obstruction. So in this picture, if you can see, so during expiration, it is the mean expiratory flow rate during the middle 50% of FVC. So it is the more sensitive index of airway obstruction. And the next dynamic lung volumes and capacities are minute ventilation or pulmonary ventilation. It is the volume of air inspired or expired by lungs in 1 minute. It equals tidal volume multiplied by the respiratory rate. So this is the important formula you have to remember. Minute ventilation or pulmonary ventilation is equal to tidal volume multiplied by respiratory rate. So the normal tidal volume is 500 ml and the respiratory rate is 12 to 15 breaths per minute. Therefore, we will be getting 6 liters, 6 to 7.5. If we take the respiratory rate 12 to 15, it will be 6 to 7.5 liters per minute. So depending on this formula, you will be getting some problems which are given in the practicals. So the next one is maximum breathing capacity or maximum voluntary ventilation. So it is the largest volume of air that can be moved into and out of lungs in 1 minute by the maximum voluntary effect. This index of ventilatory function depends upon complete cooperation of the subject, who is asked to breathe as rapidly and as deeply as he or she can for a 15-second interval. The volume of air moved is either recorded by a spirometer fitted with a writing point or is collected in a Douglas bag, and the result is expressed as liters per minute. The normal adult male can attain a maximum ventilation volume of 80 to 170 liters per minute, averaging to 100 liters per minute. And it is profoundly reduced in patients with emphysema, airway obstruction, and very poor respiratory muscles. And the next one is pulmonary reserve or breathing reserve. It is the maximum volume of air above the pulmonary ventilation which can be breathed in and out of the lungs in 1 minute. And it is expressed as maximum voluntary ventilation minus pulmonary ventilation. Suppose MVV is 100 liters per minute and PV is 6 liters per minute. The breathing reserve or pulmonary reserve can be 94 liters per minute. And the next important value is dyspneic index. So pulmonary reserve is usually expressed as the percentage of maximum ventilation volume and is known as percentage pulmonary reserve or dyspneic index. So it is otherwise called percentage pulmonary reserve, so which is expressed as percentage of maximum voluntary ventilation. So the formula is dyspneic index is equal to MVV minus pulmonary ventilation divided by MVV into 100. So if you put MVV as 100 and pulmonary ventilation 6, you will be getting 94%. So the normal values of dyspneic index is greater than equal to 60 to 70%, averaging 90%. Dyspnea is usually present when the value of the DI is less than 60%. So this is most important value. If the dyspneic index is less than 60%, the patient is suffering from dyspnea. So to summarize the topic, the lung volumes and capacities are of two types, static and dynamic. In static, there are 4 volumes and 5 capacities. So what are the 4 volumes? Just try to answer on your own. Tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and residual volume. So you remind in your mind the definitions and values of each and every volume. And then the capacities, 5 capacities: inspiratory reserve capacity, expiratory capacity, and then functional residual capacity, vital capacity, and total lung capacities. So for these capacities also you remind the definitions and values. And the dynamic lung volumes and capacities are most important: timed vital capacity or forced vital capacity. Here what we are doing, we are timing the amount of air expired by recording the vital capacity on a spirograph moving at known speed. So it has three components, that is forced expiratory volume FEV in 1 second, that is nothing but volume expired in first second of FVC. So FVC is nothing but vital capacity, that is amount of air that can be expired rapidly with maximum force. So during maximum expiration we are recording the vital capacity in relation to time. So the volume expired in first second of FVC is FEV1. So likewise the volume expired in second is FEV2 and in third second it is FEV3. So these values are very important to screen the airway diseases like obstructive and restrictive. So what happens in restrictive? FEV1 by FVC ratio is more than 80%. And in obstructive, FEV1 by FEV ratio is abnormally low. So in the example which I have shown you, it is 25%. So that is timed vital capacity, and the next one is FVF 25 to 75% or maximum mid expiratory flow rate, which is also very important to or sensitive index to detect the airway diseases. And next one is minute ventilation or pulmonary ventilation, which is nothing but respiratory tidal volume multiplied by respiratory rate. And the next one is maximum breathing capacity or maximum voluntary ventilation, which is maximum volume of air that can be ventilated during a given interval. And the pulmonary reserve or breathing reserve is maximum amount of air above the pulmonary ventilation that can be breathed in 1 minute. So it is MVV minus pulmonary ventilation. Pulmonary reserve or breathing reserve is equal to MVV minus pulmonary ventilation. And the last one is Disney index. It is also known as percentage pulmonary reserve, and the formula is MVV minus PV divided by MVV into 100. So it normal value is ranging from 60 to 90% and average is 90% or 75, anywhere between 60 to 90. And usually the patient who is having less than 60% is definitely the patient will be having dyspnea. So this is the most important point you should note. Okay, so from this lung volumes and capacities, you will be getting the most common problems, that is calculate the minute ventilation or pulmonary ventilation from the given values. So here now I am not giving any values, but the framing of the question will be like this, which you will be getting in the practical examinations for short question. In problems from the lung volumes and capacity, you will be getting this type of problems. Okay, in the next question framing will be calculate the dyspneic index or percentage pulmonary reserve of the person from the given values. So what is the formula for dyspneic index? It is MVV minus PV by MVV into 100. Okay, so other very simple problems are also given, like calculate the inspiratory capacity from the given volumes, that is tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume, they will be given and you will be asked to calculate inspiratory capacity. And likewise expiratory capacity, it is equal to tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. And functional residual capacity, which is nothing but ERV plus RV. And the vital capacity, which is nothing but tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume and expiratory reserve volume. And likewise lastly total lung capacity, which is all the volumes, addition of all volumes, or easily you can do VC plus RV. Okay, so these are the simplest problems which you will be getting from lung volumes and capacities. And next few MCQs I have given, you just see them. I'll give you time to choose the answer and then I'll give the explanation. So the MCQs are, air remaining in the lungs at the end of normal expiration. So these are the four options. Air remaining in the lungs at the end of normal expiration. So what is that? The answer is functional residual capacity. It is very easy. And the second question is, all of the following decreases with age except. So as I have told you, FRC increases with age. Remaining all will not increase with age. Okay, so the next question is, TLC, total lung capacity, depends on size of airway, closing tidal volume, lung compliance, and residual volume. So what is the answer? It is lung compliance. So greater the compliance, more is the distensibility and greater the amount that can be inspired. And if the compliance is reduced, as in fibrosis, the lungs cannot be distended to a greater extent and total lung capacity will be less. And what is the closing tidal volume or closing volume? So during forced expiration, a volume is reached at which the airways at the base of the lungs begin to close. The volume of lungs above residual volume at which airways begin to close is called closing volume. So it is somewhere between FRC and RV. So it is about 10% of VC. So closing volume or airway caliber does not determine the total lung capacity. So here the answer is lung compliance. So these are the few MCQs, and remaining simple MCQs are also there, but I have not given to you. So that's all for today's topic. Thank you. So you'll never know your limits until you push yourself to them. So this is just to motivate you. So I hope you are all reading daily and try to read these respiratory topics day by day with the online classes. Thank you again.